Easy grammar quiz. I hates my father. I haven't seen my father since I was born. Hi everyone, my name is Amelia. I was born and raised in Tennessee by my mother, Jennifer. I have never met my father. My mother always tried to fulfill her duties as a mother and a father to me. My mother was a country singer. Although she was not as famous as Taylor Swift, she was invited by many luxury restaurants and hotels to sing on important occasions or weekends. She was always happy when she sang on stage. However, when she was off stage, she was always sad. There were many men who loved my mother's voice and personality. They wanted to have a personal relationship with my mother, but she refused. My mother's best friend was Mark, and he always helped us when we were in trouble. Mark owned a restaurant near where my mother worked and often cooked delicious meals for me when my mother was busy. One day at his restaurant, I asked him why he didn't tell my mother that he loved her. "I know that you love my mother. Why don't you tell her how you feel?"
"I want to be a man who can take care of your mother and you, but now is not the right time."
"Why?" "I think my mother is in need of someone who loves her."
"Her heart has no room for another man. She loves your father very much. She just wants to spend time with you, so she can remember him."
"What kind of person is my father?" Every time I ask about my father, she cries.
"Your father is a good man, and he loves you and your mother very much."
"I haven't seen my father since I was born, so I don't believe he loves my mother and me."
"You will understand when you meet him."
I really wanted to ask about my father, but Mark refused to answer. One day while I was studying in my room, I heard someone knocking on the door. I heard my mother start crying. I rushed out of my room to see what was happening. I saw my mother crying at the door with a man in a wheelchair. So I asked my mother, "Why are you crying? Who is he?" "He is your father, Liam. I'm so glad he's still alive."
"Is this our child?"
"Amelia was born after you had the accident. You said that if we have a girl, we will name her Amelia. I didn't tell our daughter about you because I was afraid that she would come looking for you. I promised your parents not to appear in your life again. It was I who destroyed you."
"You didn't destroy me. You are the light of my life. I can't live without you and our daughter."
"Do your parents approve of our relationship?"
"They agreed and helped me find you and our child."
I stood next to them but still didn't understand what happened to my parents. After crying for a while, my mother opened the door for my father to come in. They sat next to each other and started explaining to me why my father hadn't been with me since I was born. My father was the only son in a rich family. My grandfather was a financier and owns many companies all over the world. My grandmother was a successful lawyer. From a young age, my father was trained to become the future heir of my grandparents' family. My grandparents didn't let my father go to school. They homeschooled my father to give him a good education. My father always received practical knowledge about finance from a very young age from professional teachers. My father could help my grandfather in the business when he completed his education. During a business trip to Montana, my father met my mother. My father had an important meeting with his partner in Montana. And after the meeting, they went to dinner at the restaurant where my mother worked. My father was attracted to my mother's voice, so he waited for my mother until she got off to get to know her. At first my mother rejected my father because she thought he was like other men. On one occasion, when she was singing, a drunk man threw a bottle of wine at my mother. My father protected her and got hurt. My mother took my father to the hospital for treatment. She spent a lot of time taking care of my father after that. She realized that my father was a good man and accepted his marriage proposal. My grandparents didn't accept my parents' relationship. If my father wanted to marry to my mother, he must leave their house and not take anything with him. My father decided to leave home to marry my mother and began a new life with her. My grandparents wanted my father back home, so they prevented financial companies from hiring him to work. He decided that no matter how difficult it was, he would still marry my mother. He drove a delivery truck for Walmart while my mother sang for restaurants and hotels. They lived happily even though they didn't have much money. A year later, my mother informed my father the good news that she was expecting a baby. He was very happy to hear the news, so he decided to work harder to give me a better life when I was born. While working, he was in a car accident and was seriously injured. The doctor said my father's chances of survival were very low. My mother had no choice but to contact my grandparents so that my father could get the best treatment. Liam was seriously injured. He was in the hospital and needed special treatment to live. We will find the best doctor to treat Liam as long as you stay out of his life and have no contact with him. I promise to stay away from Liam, but will you let me stay in the hospital until his surgery is over? Yes, but I hope you can keep your promise. My mother left the hospital when she learned my father's surgery was successful. She decided to move to Tennessee so my father couldn't find her. Every Christmas, she would take me to the park in Montana near the hospital where my father was treated, so we could spend Christmas with him. Why do we come here every year for Christmas? I don't like this park because there aren't many games for kids. If we were here, we could spend Christmas with your father. Why can't we stay home to celebrate Christmas like other families? Why do I have to celebrate Christmas with my father when he never comes to visit me? I hate him. I don't want to meet him. Your father loves you very much, but he cannot visit you. When you are old enough, I will explain to you. I didn't know that my father didn't come to visit me because he had to stay in the hospital for a very long time after his surgery. Although the surgery was successful, he could not walk like normal people. He had to do a lot of surgery after that and physical therapy to be able to stand up. He tried to get treatment every day because he wanted to see my mother and me again. He asked his best friend, Jackson, to help him find my mother. Jackson did not want to disobey my grandparents. My father decided to stop his treatment to ask my grandparents to comply with his request to find my mother. Why don't you do this surgery? You know how important this surgery is for you. The doctor said you can walk and have a normal life if the surgery is successful.
I don't want to live without Jennifer. I don't know why you don't want me to be with her.
She is a singer, and I don't like her profession. She doesn't love you, she loves our family's money.
She doesn't need our money. We lived happily and comfortably without your money. Jackson told me she didn't run away with another man after I was in an accident like you said. She left because she wanted you to help me to get the best treatment. Did you know she was pregnant when I had the accident? Don't you want to see your granddaughter?
I agree with you that Jennifer is a good person. We were wrong because we always arrange your life. I believe you know what's best for you, and you can make your own decision.
Thank you for understanding me.
After my father finished the surgery, he came to look for my mother and me. I am very happy to know the story of my parents. I also hope to find a husband who loves me like my father loves my mother. The end. Please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.